Welcome to Unlock 360, the podcast for champions of public education. Here we explore the connection between leadership, teaching, and learning, and reveal the keys to getting better results for all students. Each episode highlights a change maker who's turning vision into action and creating schools where both educators and students thrive. Welcome back, everyone. I am excited to welcome Dr. Jeremy Owoh, the superintendent of Jacksonville North Pulaski School District today. Welcome, Jeremy.
Thank you, Wendy. It's great to join you today.
It's so nice to have you. Jeremy oversees all aspects of district operations, including instructional programs and long-term strategic planning. Under his leadership, Jacksonville North Pulaski has advanced initiatives focused on early literacy, technology, and improving educational outcomes. Dr. Owoh is the president of ISTE and ASCD Board of Directors and is influencing educational policy at the national level. It is an honor to have you today.
Well, thank you. I'm honored to join you.
Will you share with our audience, a brief, maybe 30-second introduction of yourself, your journey in education?
Well, thank you, Wendy. Yes, I'll tell you, I've been very blessed with having the professional career and experiences that I've had. I started off as an English teacher, ninth and 10th grade English teacher at a local high school here, and eventually moved into the dean of students role, assistant principal role of high school. I've served as a principal at a middle school and a principal at a high school. And during the times that I was principal of a high school, I had the great opportunity for the first time in the state of Arkansas, a school district was being carved or detached, created from an existing school district. And in fact, it's ironically the same school district that I had the opportunity to come back as superintendent. But at that time, when the district was first established, I came on as assistant superintendent for curriculum and instruction, and was able to transition the district and start the operation of the district, which was a great learning experience. And then because of that, I was then appointed assistant commissioner for educator effectiveness and licensure at the Arkansas Department of Education, and which was a great experience as well. I was
I
able to work
bet.
district statewide, and then I got appointed as superintendent for Pine Bluff School District by the Educational Commissioner of Arkansas. And so I did that for a couple of years. And then I got the opportunity to come back to Jacksonville and serve as superintendent. And so I'm going into my 6th year of superintendency.
Okay. Wow. It's been quite a journey.
It has been.
And you have worn some really awesome hats. Super excited to, have you shed some light on your perspective and the things that you all are working on there in your district with that experience, coming to the table. Thank you for sharing that. And what would you say? What was your inspiration for getting into this field of education?
I will tell you, I grew up, Wendy, in Southern Arkansas, a rural town called Camden, Arkansas, and pretty humble beginnings. But I had teachers, both at the elementary level, middle school level, and high school level, that I can remember who took time and invested time and energy and resources in me and my siblings and my peers to ensure that we had the very best educational experience, but also to make sure that we were prepared for life after our educational career there in Camden. And it truly had an impact on me. Two of those teachers were my English teachers, and they really developed, and I would say sparked, the love for reading and writing in me. And hence the reason it paved the way for me to become an English teacher. So
Yeah, that's so cool. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. And for our audience, the way the show works is we want to have Dr. Owoh shed some light on K-12 educational leadership and, really tell us a little bit about what they're doing to improve outcomes for kids in Jacksonville, North Pulaski, and also what challenges he's facing or the district is facing right now, as well as, what they're trying to do or to solve for in the coming year. And so with that, Dr. Owoh, I am thinking of the work that you all have been doing. You mentioned some work around the ABCs. Can you tell us about the ABCs and where you've been and where you're headed?
Yeah. So when we started the district, Wendy, we were fortunate to be able to start from ground zero and build the educational system uh, that we've learned over time was best for kids. And then when I came back as superintendent, uh, I wanted to make sure that we continue to build on that, and but not add additional things and responsibilities and paperwork to our teachers' loads and plates and our leaders' plates. And what I share with them is that if we focused on the fundamentals of education, the fundamentals of learning, teaching and learning, then we're going to ensure and we're going to make sure that we grow our young people and make sure that they're achieving. And so our team kind of coined the term the ABCs, academics, behavior, and culture, and really focusing on those foundational skills. And so with academics, we decided that we were not just going to be a regular school district. We needed to ensure that we viewed ourselves and other people viewed us as a learning organization. And so all of our young people, all of our educators, staff members should always be in the mode of learning. What's working, what's not working, how do we continue to grow as a system, as individuals? And then, of course, this year we're launching the behavior part, the B part, which is kindness is cool, teaching and exemplifying to our young people that it is cool to be kind to each other and to the adults. And but also it's important that adults understand that they need to be kind to our students, to scholars as well. And so we're focusing on those ABCs, which the academics and the behavior, if we improve those, then our culture will also improve.
Yes, and it is cool to be kind. It is
It
so
is.
cool to be kind. And when you see those moments, when you witness those moments of, humans just being kind to each other, it's just it's really special. I'm thinking of um recently my mom was, sharing she had been taking some of my cousins to school every so often as a special treat. And one of them was in kindergarten this past year. And she said she loved taking Loretta to kindergarten because they were just so kind. They're all happy and kind.
Well, and you think about it, like our young people, especially at the primary and elementary age, and I think about our pre-K scholars as well. Sometimes they just come up and give you a hug, and they don't know what your day has been like, but they make you feel like you're the only person in the world right then, and they pay so
Yeah.
much attention. And so, how do we continue to replicate of making someone's day a positive one and not adding to the negativity? Because we get enough of that. But we also know uh, focusing on the positivity does something mentally, emotionally, and socially to us. And so we got to teach that. And I told my team here that we have to realize that our responsibility is not just growing our young people academically, but we also have to develop them behaviorally as well. And if they don't get it from us, we can't expect them to get it outside the schools.
Yeah.
So it's important that we
Yeah.
focus on that.
It definitely is, and I just love I don't know, just it's so simple. Like
It
kindness is
is.
cool, you
It
know?
is. And it's not a heavy lift to smile, to be kind, to be respectful with people, and to be cognizant, be aware of how your interactions, what you say and what you do, may impact somebody else's day.
Right. Yes, so true. And, the other piece that, you mentioned and, that I saw and, looking through your background and what the district's been working on, was around, equity. And, can you share where equity like, the role that equity and the equity work you've done, plays with the ABCs?
Yeah, so with equity is the foundational premise or principle of everything that we do because at the heart of equity, equity is ensuring that every individual person is able to get exactly what he or she needs to be successful, to be able to achieve, to be able to grow. And so, how we support financially, the things that we put our funds in, the resources that we provide, the interventions, the trainings, is very important. But we can't assume that I can't assume as superintendent that I know what's best for every child and every employee
Right.
of my district. And so student voice and employee voice, teacher voice and staff voice, they're all very important in the journey that we're on. And it's important that we have those voices at the very beginning of the journey because all of us will be impacted by it. And failure to do that erodes trust and builds distrust and gaps, and it changes your culture to a negative or toxic one. And so it's very
Sure.
important that we have an ongoing communication back and forth with our students, with our staff, to hear their voice, to make well-informed decisions based upon that feedback.
Yes.
And as leaders, we have to realize, I'll say this, as leaders, we have to realize that it's not always about the quantitative, the numbers and the data that we receive. It's a lot about it's qualitative, how people feel and their perception and reaction is just as important as the numbers.
I couldn't have said it better myself. And you reminding me of, the 4 disciplines of execution. And, as leaders in education in the business world, like anywhere, it's one thing to come up with a strategy and it's another thing to execute. And commitment is one of those, really key pieces or fundamentals for executing, for the doing of the work that you are doing to try to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. And without the voices of the students and the staff, it's hard to build that commitment around whatever it is that you're going for. So I really appreciate that emphasis that you all have, and I'm curious what structures or processes do you have to um, to to elevate student voice or to hear from students or teachers?
Well, I have student advisory groups at all of our schools. And so I actually meet, even at our elementary schools, I meet with the young people and we go over every topic, even the food in the cafeteria and their perspective. And I'll tell you, our young people are not afraid. They're respectful, but they're very candid and transparent. And I'll also point this out that we there was a year ago, I met with my elementary groups, and we actually changed intervention programs district wide based upon the feedback that I've received from my students. And
Interesting.
so making sure that I spend time with our students, making sure I spend times. I'm always in the schools, and I have an open door policy. So if staff, if leaders are in the district office and I'm here, they come in. They know they can always email me. I'm always in the buildings. I go to the so it's the formal opportunities, but also the informal opportunities of communication. I regularly give updates at the board meetings. I'm always at athletic programs or activities, as well as the academic activities outside of school. And so making sure that ongoing communication and input is there. You'll be surprised or not, as an educator, how much you learn from your custodial staff, from your front office staff,
Oh,
just
yeah.
regularly talking to them. And so those are the channels that I use as a superintendent to make sure that I'm constantly getting current information and feedback.
That's awesome, and I wanna dig in a little bit more, if you can shed some more light on what were your interventions like before? What did the students what was their feedback and what did you all change?
One of the most important things, or a couple of important things that the students said there was such a lag time. So they would get, it was an online tool or an electronic tool that they would log into, and they would achieve one skill or concept, but it was a lag time before they could move on, or it would make them repeat it, or it was a situation where the teachers couldn't fix it or couldn't maneuver them through it, and they were like, "This is impacting my time. I should be at this different at this level, or the teacher, my teacher should be able to help me." And so I went back, looked at the system from my login, and I mean everything that the students stated was affirmed from what I could see online, but also what the teachers, when I followed up with the teachers, and it's like, yes, that I'm this these are the issues that we're having. And so it wasn't conducive to filling the gaps that the interventions were supposed to be filling or addressing. And for me, for a student, for one of my students or a group of my students to be able to articulate these are the issues that we're having with this program that should be advancing or building our skills, developing our skills, but it's not, it's actually causing roadblocks or barriers. For failure for me to act on that is a direct reflection on my leadership because I'm in this position as superintendent for my students and for my staff and for my parents, and I have to make sure that we are making decisions that are going to be impactful in a positive way for them. And so that was a decision. I came to the curriculum instruction team. I'm like, we got to do something about this. And the following year, this which is this school year, we had a new math intervention program, and it's been phenomenal because this new partner actually curated our system of their intervention program for us, based on what we needed, based on how our students needed to interact with it and our staff members, and they provided ongoing coaching for our staff. And so it's been a great experience.
That's really good. I appreciate that example and those details, and I think our listeners will as well. I'm thinking about, we talked a little bit about this before the show about, continuous improvement processes and the cycle of inquiry. And, even that example highlights what you all do. Can you tell our audience a bit about your process?
From day one, Wendy, we believed that action research is the heart of what we do each and every day as educators. And part of that action research, our cycle of inquiry is plan, do, check. Based upon the needs assessments, based on the quantitative, but also the qualitative data, we make a decision. We build the plan of action, the course of action based on the data, and we set the goals, and then we put it into action, and then we monitor it, and then we come back to the table looking at the quantitative, looking at the qualitative data, and if it's not, and we measure, we evaluate programs, positions, and people, and if we're not getting the impact of growth and achievement with our students or with our staff members, then we have to be courageous enough to do something differently, to do something different. And that's what we do. We plan it, we do it, and we check it, and then we continue. And each year, and I will tell you, the success that we've had, the growth that we've had academically and behaviorally, and even extracurricular wise with our athletics program, it's because of the plan, do, check, that cycle of inquiry, because we're not afraid to come back to the table and reevaluate and redo and try something new and measure that impact or that change. And I feel like as a school system, as our students change, as our staff members, as the adults change, then we have to be willing to change because our students it's not a one size fits all. And our group of students
Right.
that we have this year, they're not going to be the same group next year because they're maturing, they're growing. And so as a system, we have to continue to grow and develop as well.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And that's the tricky piece is like even when we think we've got it, right? We're in the people business and people are different. People change and things around us change. I was starting to wonder about budgeting, you know, making tough decisions when it comes to your budgets. As a school district, that's really been challenging for many. I'm thinking that the plan do check might actually help you all with that some.
It does, and it helps us be more proactive in budgeting because we're able to one show. Well, initially, we're able to evaluate to see if something's having an impact or if a role or position is having an impact or not, or the level of impact. And then I'm able to show our board, we're able to show our faculty and staff, we're able to show the community. These are the reasons why we're making the decisions that we're making based on this evaluation. And we're able to cut it. And I tell you, we haven't had we haven't really had a lot of pushback when we've had to make changes because we're able to show that, and we're always making sure that we focus on our top priority, which is our young people and their educational experience. And so, Plan Do Check has helped us weather the storm, especially in the age of choice and enrollment fluctuations. We're able to stay ahead of that curve and not be so reactive.
That's fantastic. And you've used, us and we, and you've mentioned your team, and you've even spoken about a specific department, and, tell us about that. Tell us about the teams in Jacksonville, North Pulaski.
So we're a small district. We have about 4,300 students. I say small. It's small to me because I've worked in larger districts. But so we have a I have a cabinet team. Consists of me, my assistant superintendent for teaching and learning, assistant superintendent over support services. We have a director of instructional leadership, my director of athletics, director of human resources, the director of communications. All of them report to me, including I'm not sure if I mentioned my director of finance. So all of them report to me, but we also have a larger guiding coalition where we actually meet and look at student data. And so in the
Okay.
war room, what we call the war room, Arkansas just passed legislation for Read by Three. And so, based upon our state assessment, our third graders had to score at a certain level to be able to matriculate to the next grade level, to be promoted to the next grade level. And if not, then they had to be retained. And so, as a guiding coalition and at the district team, we have listed all of our young people. So they're not just numbers on paper. We know exactly which students came into the school year below level, on
Okay.
level, or above, and then what interventions that we need to put in place. And then at the school level, they have their own war room for their actual students. But I'm as superintendent, I was able to look at all of my elementary schools and see the numbers. And so that at the district level, guiding coalition aligns with what's happening at school. And that's really important for it. That was really important that and that's part going back to the learning organization. For us to be able to make the right decisions, they have to be informed decisions. And so we have to know what's taking place in the schools. And so we have the guiding coalition at the district level, and then our school teams have their guiding coalition. But our support services like transportation, child and nutrition, they also have their learning organization where they continue to do training with their staff members too, so that they're part of the learning system as well.
Okay. Now, there was something that you said there, that gave me a thought, and I'm losing my train of thought here. It was because you mentioned Read by Three, and you were telling us about the state initiatives and really like tracking each student by name and where they are with their reading. I was reminded of the work that you've done to put libraries in barbershops and in banks. Tell us about that.
Well, Wendy, and I tell you, and I'm an English teacher by nature, and so I get excited about literacy all the time. But I tell you, that was one of the proactive measures we put in place even before the Read by Three legislation,
Okay.
had, which took us to the next level, and we were able to continue to be proactive, not reactive. So when we started as a district, we realized that um, the work that we do in the classrooms in the schools was not good enough. We had to make sure the foundation was there at the school, but we also needed for our young people to know that learning happens outside of school as well. And so we launched the Jacksonville Reads program. So we have community partners, community entities, and businesses to partner with us, so that if a child is in their place of business, that they're also encouraging and championing reading as well. So if you're at a barbershop or salon, you're not just watching TV, you're not looking at a phone. You have books there that you can actually pick up, and they're age appropriate and engagement level appropriate, so that if students want to take them with them, they can take the book with them, because we believe in individual libraries at home as well. And so we want to definitely instill the love for reading and learning outside of the school. So even if you're at the bank with your parents, you're able to pick up a book and read it, and just getting them in the habit of always wanting to read, lifelong
Yeah.
learner and reader.
Yeah, you know what? This is completely off script. Not that there is a script, and I tend to go off, on a tangent pretty often. I think our listeners know, but I because you can see that I love reading also, and I just was curious, like, what were some of your favorite childhood books?
I remember growing up, loving to read The Boxcar Children,
Oh yeah.
Hardy Boys, and those that was elementary type. Now, I will be honest and transparent. I graduated from those very quickly when I got to middle school because I started reading Stephen King, and I
Oh wow.
yeah,
Okay.
and so I love Stephen King. Now,
Okay.
at this day and age, I probably wouldn't pick up a Stephen King just because of how he was how he writes and the topics in there because
Yeah.
I don't know if I could sleep well at night with that. But I will tell you, I from Stephen King as an adult now, I read a lot of John Grisham and a lot of James
Okay.
Patterson for pleasure, and then I also do some professional reading, but Hardy Boys and the Boxcar Children were very instrumental of developing that love for reading, for me. I remember reading all of the series, and even when Nancy Drew, they wrote the books where Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys,
Oh
overlapped,
yes. Uh-huh.
and so and I'm thankful for my parents, for my mom instilling that love for reading. She would always take us every summer to the local library, county library, and would let us check out as many books as we would like. And we would still be able to play outside and go to the park, but she also wanted us to have that love for reading. And I still have that love for reading today.
Yeah. It's so important, that, the role that your mom played, and you reminded me of a conversation with my mom recently, and I don't remember what got us to talking about it, but she said, I don't know, I don't remember reading. I'm not sure if I read to you. I don't remember that. And I said, you did. I remember. I remember you and dad reading to me. I remember where we sat and where we were. I don't
Yes.
remember what books you read, but you absolutely did. And she said, we did. Okay, good. I think we were talking about the importance of that, like of adults modeling reading and,
I was
engaging with
just about to
reading.
say that, Wendy. I think that it's so important for adults to remember where intentionality comes in because things that we may not think are important or memorable or impactful as adults, they are for young people because like you said, you have those memories, I have
Yeah.
the memories, and I don't think my mom really thought how much of an impact that would,
Right.
be on us, but, like, I'm truly the person I am today, personally and professionally, because of those experiences when I was younger.
Yes, yes, indeed, and it is so, so important, and I was like, "How do you not remember that?" I definitely remember that. You did, you both did. So, that's really cool. I'm also now thinking about, you're reminding me of kind of this season, I've been trying to end the show with, giving you an opportunity to shout out to someone who has had a real impact on your life as an educator. And you've mentioned some teachers that influenced you. You just mentioned your mom. Is there someone else that has inspired you that you would like to recognize or honor? Give a shout out to today.
Yeah, I definitely there are 2 teachers, that, other than, of course, like I said, my mom, who's played an integral part in my life. The 2 teachers, English teachers, June Kirtley, I believe she was ninth grade, my ninth or 10th grade English teacher, who ensured that I had a love for writing because I hated writing, but then she made it seem so important to share my voice. And I never until then, that high school class connected hearing my voice and sharing my voice in my writing. And that's when writing changed for me because I thought writing was just a hassle or
Yeah.
a thing to check off. But incorporating my voice in my writing and being able to tell my story and allowing people to learn who I am and get to know who I am through my writing. So she's the June Kirtley, and think she's still in education. She's still working,
Wow.
and
Okay.
but she had a major impact on my life. And then the other one was my 12th grade AP English teacher, Mrs. Diane Hendricks. She's no longer with us. She passed away several years ago, but she is the one that really enhanced my love for reading, because even as a 12th grade student, as 12th graders, she read to us. She would read,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we looked forward to that. And again, I don't think she realized the impact of her taking the time to read to a classroom of 12th graders.
That's
Because we assume
huge.
that 12th graders would think that's childish, but those were the days or class times that we looked forward to it. Because she wouldn't read a full book, they were chapter books. And so she may have read one chapter each class period, for not the
Yeah.
entire period, but part of the class period. And we looked forward to that. And I truly became an English teacher and have a love for reading and writing because of those two. And even when I wrote my dissertation, it was an easy process for me because of the skills and experiences that they provided for me, all the way back in high school. So,
Yes, and that is so cool. And also, on another note, I want to make sure I give you an opportunity to tell people where they can go, if they want to learn more, because you've shared so many cool things that you all are doing in Jacksonville. And I'm thinking about, you're a learning organization, you're engaged in action research, the importance of that, of really measuring your effectiveness and making changes and adjusting. You're seeing improvements, staying focused on the things that matter most, and kindness is cool, all that stuff. If someone wants to learn more about your district, they're looking for a new place to call home as a teacher or leader, or maybe they're looking for a new place to enroll their kiddos, where do they go to learn more?
yes, all of that information, our curriculum, the courses that we offer, our framework, our core beliefs are all located on our district website, jnpsd.org, JNPSD for Jacksonville North Pulaski School District .org. Or you can just Google us and at Jacksonville North Pulaski School District, and you will find all of that. We have school tours, virtual school tours that you could see, but everything that we offer and provide for our young people and more is located on there. And if you want to learn more about my leadership, if anyone would like to learn more about my leadership path or journey, you can actually follow it and pick up my new book that I published this past spring, is Create Your Own Luck: How Leaders Leverage the Intersection of Opportunity and Preparation. And it's really more, it's less about luck, but more about preparation, and is creating your own luck. And it's based upon really making sure that you're prepared academically, with life experiences, and how that preparation leads you into those opportunities that you would like to have, both personally and professionally. And so it really sheds insight on all of my professional experiences, but also my personal experiences, leadership experiences that I've had in my church and in the community and civic organizations. And so I wanted to make sure that I have a living document of that, of just how I've been blessed in the leadership experiences that I've had in my professional career. So,
Yes, and well, let's just add another hat to your another hat to your head, or yeah, that's really awesome. I mean, you've done so much for to serve others in your career, Jeremy. Thank you for being on the show. And mom, did you hear? I said his name right, Jeremy. Thank you for joining us on Unlock 360. If this conversation sparked new thinking, share it with a colleague and keep the dialogue going in your school district. Public education is complex work, and progress happens when leadership and teaching move together. I'm Wendy York Davoud. Until next time, keep building the systems that unlock what's possible, because strong leadership drives deeper learning.